Hello everyone, Rajesh Dubey here from RD Wellness. This is the fifth part of the 5-part video series on the control your diabetes. In this concluding video, I will share with you 7 effective habits. The idea is that you should be aware of these 7 habits, and if you can follow them in your day-to-day life, it is very likely that you will be able to manage your health very effectively. And you will be able to keep many chronic diseases away. And the reason is that you will not allow the conditions like obesity, metabolic syndrome, or the chronic inflammation to creep in your body. So these are the 7 effective habits, and I'm sure you will find them very easy to follow, and you can really implement them in very cost-effective manner in your day-to-day life. So here we go for the 7 effective habits. I'm calling them Health-I-7 or Healthy-7, and the idea is that if you take a pledge to follow these 7 habits, then for sure they will do magic for you. So let us go forth and try to see what are these 7 super effective habits. So here is the first habit: carbohydrates. Mind your carbohydrate intake. The message is you should be conscious to carbohydrates you are consuming. Number first is that you should know your SI score. So if you are in the healthy zone, in that case you will have probably more liberty to consume the carbohydrates, in the sense that you may consume a little higher amount of carbohydrate. At the same time, you will also be able to consume more amount of fruits and maybe occasionally some desserts, as long as you are in the healthy zone. But if you know your SI score and that indicates that you are either in the concern zone or in the risk zone, then you should be controlling your carbohydrate intake. You should also ensure that the carbohydrate you are consuming is coming from unrefined sources. So for example, if you are eating potato chips, if you are eating more of the bread, or more of the cake and the all those kind of highly processed food, that is not going to help you. Try to increase more of those products, maybe some vegetables, fruits, grains, so that you get these carbohydrates which are closer to the nature, and thereby they are more unrefined. But having said that, always try to see if you can reduce the carbohydrate. Okay, don't stop it altogether, but you should be able to reduce the carbohydrate, and if possible, try to skip the diet which is having huge amount of carbohydrate. Just to give you an idea, I have thrown the figure over here. If the food is containing more than 50% carbohydrate or 30 grams of carbohydrate, and after taking food you know that you are not going to work, okay, you have to sit in your cabin, you are traveling, and therefore you will be sitting in the bus or in the train or in the flight, and therefore you will not be even moving, then it will not be helpful if you consume more than 50% of carbohydrate, or if you consume food which are having more than 30 grams of carbohydrate. So once again, the first habit which should be on the top of your mind, that is, you should be mindful of your carbohydrates. Okay, habit number 2, exercise. Unless you are fasting, even though some people are okay to exercise even if they are fasting. Sometimes even I exercise when I am fasting. Of course, that exercise duration should be limited in that situation, but let us say that unless and until you are fasting, exercise is always recommended. Okay, try to combine the different types of exercises, whether it is cardio, flexibility, balance, and resistance. Something that is called as a circuit training, and there can be different formats of training where you can really combine the different forms of exercise, and the main reason is that you will be able to enjoy your workout session in a better way, okay, because you are mixing different kinds of formats. And number 2 is that you will be giving your body exposure to different kind of stress, and that will really help you from the different sides, so that you end up increasing your cardio strength. You also increase your resistance or muscular mass. You also increase your flexibility as well as the balance, especially in the senior citizens. Now, many people have excuses that they are working from early morning to late evening and therefore they cannot do exercise. Well, that is just an excuse. You can work out even in your home or in your office. That is 100% possible, and I can provide you the means and mechanism of how that is possible. That is one of the way and one of the solution we are providing of setting up a small workout station in the home, so that if you are in your home and even if you are doing any activity, even if you are watching television, if you are busy in the kitchen, or if you are just having some free time, you can do exercise, and very effective exercise, maybe better than exercising in the gym, using all these techniques in your home. Okay, use your legs more often, keep moving, keep walking. That is always a very good practice because it keeps your cardio activities on a higher side, and thereby you keep your metabolism a little on the higher side. And of course, it goes unsaid that you have to enjoy the pain for any effective gain. So enjoy all the exercise and you will really feel the difference after a while. Habit number 3, supplements. Unless and until you are not well, for example, pregnant ladies or somebody who is suffering with certain diseases, if we live that population, then if you are healthy, there is no reason why you should go for supplements and not eat the healthy food, that is vegetable, more of fruits, more of grains, maybe dairy products. These products will provide you very effective balance of micronutrients, and while you will find multiple literature advocating consumption of certain supplements, always keep in mind the nature has created the food in form of vegetables and fruit which are having a very fine and intricate balance of various micronutrients and the minerals and even the phytochemicals. So therefore always try to stick to these natural sources. Of course, in certain cases, for example, there is essential fatty acid. In those cases, if your body is really short of those fatty acids because of whatsoever reasons, then again you will fall in the zone or in the population of those people who are not keeping well, and then you should go for some supplements. But if you are taking adequate balanced diet that has vegetables, grains, fruits, in that case, believe me, you will never need to go for supplements. Okay. Habit number 4, muscles. Muscles are the most ignored part of health. People are very careless when it comes to initiate any discussion about the muscle. They feel muscles are only helpful to the superheroes or to the people who are bodybuilders or those who are movie stars or that kind of elites, I would say. That is grossly misunderstood part of the muscles. The fact is that your body cannot move if you do not have the muscles. The skeletons, the bones, they do not move on their own. These are the muscles which make them move. And always remember that your muscles are always going to decrease once you have crossed the 40 years of age. And if you do not maintain your muscle mass, your muscle balance, soon you may run out of them, in the sense that your muscles will be very weak, the balance will be very small, and therefore you will increasingly start feeling the problems in the mobility, in maintaining the balance, and you will start getting the diseases, for example arthritis, because you do not have muscles and therefore your body is not able to tolerate your own body weight, right? So therefore it is very important. And disclaimer again over here, I'm not telling you, I'm not asking you to go for those techniques like taking hormones or the protein powders. No, these are some very simple techniques. You just have to maintain a very healthy muscle mass, that's it. And that is very much possible by doing exercise in your home and even by consuming the natural vegetable based proteins. And again, we can discuss on that if there is any question. Habit number 5, label. Once again, people are often ignorant So you go to the shop and you hardly check what is the food all about, what are the nutrients, what is a macronutrient, what is a micronutrient. So always try to read the label, and before you can read the label you have to learn how to read the label. So you will find in the food on the food packets a label which tells you about the macronutrients, which are fats, proteins and the carbohydrate. It also tells you about the micronutrient, which are the vitamins and minerals. Sometime you should be able to see first of all whether it is having a very high amount of carbohydrate, and even from out of those carbohydrates whether bulk of that carb is coming from sugar. So for example, in the slide that you see over here, the total carbs is 16 gram and the sugar is only 2 grams. So that should be okay. You should also see whether this carb is containing some dietary fiber. It is always good to have the fibers in your food. And then in the fats, you should see that the food should not have the trans fats. There should be less of saturated fat and more of unsaturated fat or polyunsaturated fat. As I told you, as far as carbohydrates are concerned, it should be more of the carb which is not coming from the sugar, and if there is that dietary fiber, well and good. If it is having the protein, that is again very helpful to you. So that is a kind of understanding you should derive once you go through the label, and once you are satisfied that the product you are buying does not have very refined carbohydrate, it does not have trans fats, it does not have a significant proportion of saturated fat, then you can definitely go for those foods. But once again, even then you should try to restrict consumption of processed food. Always try to stick to the food which are as close to the nature as possible. Habit number 6, early dine. This is one of the very important thing. Now just imagine that you had your dinner at 9 o'clock or 9:30 and then you go to bed at around 10, 10:30 or 11 o'clock. What is happening inside your body? You take around 75 to 100 grams of carbohydrate. Let us say, for example, that means you are taking carbohydrate that is equivalent to 350 or 300 to 400 calories. Now that calories will take a lot of time to burn, number one. Number two, all these 75 to 100 grams of carbohydrate, that will not be consumed immediately, and the reason is you are going to sleep, you are going to take rest. Your body, because you are not going to be active, you will your metabolic rate, your metabolic level will be very low, and therefore your body will literally be struggling with all the sugar that is flowing freely in your blood. Your body will not know how to consume the sugar, how to take this sugar away from the blood, and ultimately it will have to keep dumping insulin in the body in order to remove the sugar out from your blood in the form of fats. And that is a problem. So what is happening? Number one, you are consuming a lot of insulin. Remember, I told you, treat insulin as the fixed deposit. Okay, so you are consuming a lot of insulin from your fixed deposit. Number two, you are getting more and more amount of fats in the night. Number third, this whole chaos which you are creating, the havoc which is going on in your inside your body because of your own doing, that is called as a metabolic stress. Your body has to really struggle to metabolize the sugar, and this kind of very high extent of metabolic stress, if you repeat this thing 24/7 and every month and over the long period, these are the exact kind of activities which result into metabolic syndrome, and that ultimately culminates into type 2 diabetes, cardiovascular problems, and even the cancer and Alzheimer's, neurodegenerative issues, you just name it, and all this problem is happening because of this. On the contrary, if you make it a habit of completing your dinner 3 hours before you go to bed, so let us say if you are going to bed 10 or 10 or 11 o'clock, and again I would say that don't go very late, because again your body is having certain clock. So in that situation you should complete your dinner, you should finish your dinner by 7 to 8 o'clock. That's it, not before than that. Number two, it's all right to party once in a while, but don't party every night, because the alcohol or the tobacco that you are taking, remember in our SI score we are having a question for consumption of alcohol or tobacco, and that itself accounts for one count. And therefore if you consume a lot of amount of alcohol, or every day you are a habitual drinker, that is not going to do any good to you. Okay, the last one, the measure your SI score. Always keep a track of your SI score. SI score, that is a susceptibility index score, is a very effective, do it yourself, cost free. It's a zero cost. What else you need? It's a zero cost tool. You can just sit with yourself, or you can take our help and you can go through the list of 10 questions. You will get a score which will tell you where do you stand as far as your health is concerned, whether your health is in the green zone or there is a reason to be concerned, or you are clearly in the risk zone. And based on this thing, you will clearly have some actions, some actionable points which can really help you in a very short span of time, let us say within the 6 months, to reverse this. So the idea is that you just keep a track of your health. Let us say that you keep on measuring your SI score every 6 months, then over 4 or 5 years you will be getting a trend. Okay, and that trend will tell you where you are going with respect to your health, whether your health is deviating from a healthy zone to risk zone, or you need to work on your health, so that if you have deviated from healthy zone to concern zone or the risk zone, then you bring it back to the lower level. Okay, so that is the whole purpose. What is happening these days is, or generally in our day-to-day activities, we get so much lost that we are hardly concerned about our health. And one fine day when we start feeling bad, or when we are supposed to take some medical, the routine medical checkup, on that day we come to know that we have certain problem, whether it is diabetes, it is high blood sugar, it is high lipid profile. That kind of situation will be drastically minimized, because you are every 6 months, and remember, it is not like every day, it is not every week, and therefore it is not a burden. You are not going to be burdened. The whole idea is that your body doesn't change so rapidly. Okay, it takes some time, and based on that scientific evidence and understanding, we have recommended that every 6 months you should be able to measure your SI score. And if you keep a track of your SI score, as you can see in the graph, the red one shows that the person is moving from the healthy zone to risk zone, while the green zone, you see that there was a time when the SI score deviated to the concern or risk zone, but then if maybe the person acted on that, and therefore he brought it back to the healthy zone. So that is the whole idea, that you should be able to keep your health based on your SI score in the healthy zone for a very long period of time. And this is basically philosophy to create a sustainable good health. So this is all in this final and concluding chapter for the Control Your Diabetes. And remember, this is not only for diabetes, this is for many different chronic diseases. If you follow the habits and the ideas I have shared with you in this 5-part video, this is going to be very helpful to you to keep yourself away from any of various chronic diseases. Again, I'm not telling that everybody will be 100% free of the diseases. Many a times there are some other factors as well. Food is one very important factor, exercise is one very important factor, but then there are something that is called as a genetic makeup, something that is called as a heredity, and if those kind of factors are more dominant, they have taken over your diet and exercise, then it may be tough. But even in those situations, you should be able to control your progression to the bad situation. Okay, so let us say if somebody is having the obesity genes, definitely if he starts implementing all these good habits, he will be in the much better position to monitor his health and avoid getting on the higher side of obesity in the long run. So with this, thank you very much for watching the 5-part episodes. I'm sure these 5 videos I have uploaded as a series of Control Your Diabetes will be really helpful to you. The idea is not only to keep you away from diabetes, but also to ensure that you remain mindful, you adopt good habits, you are always mindful of your health, and whenever there is any sign of the metabolic syndrome or the chronic diseases, then you take corrective steps so that you reverse to the healthy zone. At the same time, from the title of this thing, Control Your Diabetes, which is actually coming from my book, where I have given more detailed insights about the various points which I have mentioned in my videos. These videos, the 5-part videos, will also help you not only to stay away from diabetes, but also to ensure that you do not fall in the trap of other chronic diseases, which actually starts from obesity and then it goes to it diversifies to many different kind of diseases that includes diabetes, hypertension, even cancer, arthritis, neurodegenerative problems, muscular problems, and there are a host of them. So try to follow these 7 habits, and even if there is any sign of deterioration based on the SI score, then I would recommend that you immediately adopt the good habits. Again, you can find those good habits in the 3rd and 4th part of the videos, and we'll be happy to work with you to ensure that you live a very good life, a very healthy life, and you remain happy.